This video is dedicated to Miss Sukert. Miss Sukert was my 7th grade English teacher 50 some odd years ago. I think it's safe to assume that Miss Sukert is gone by now, since she had to be 50 some odd years old 50 some odd years ago. I still remember her though. I liked her. I don't remember anything we read that year or any lesson Miss Sukert ever taught. But I remember her bottled blonde Gracie Allen hair, her frail-looking, slightly round-shouldered body, and the big smile she flashed at us when we arrived at her classroom, room 101, 5 minutes before homeroom. There would usually be a dozen or so boys, myself among them, lined up there every morning. You see, back in those long-ago days, almost every New York City public junior high school required every boy to wear a necktie every day. Back then, New York City teachers had locked closets in their classrooms where purses, fedora hats, and similar personal items could be kept safe during the day. Miss Sukert kept her purse in that closet and her overcoat and emergency rain bonnet, but she also kept the ties there. She would unlock the closet and we tieless boys would get to pick the tie we would wear that day, first choice to the first boy in line. I don't know where she got the ties. She always was Miss Sukert because they hadn't invented Ms. yet. So we knew she'd never been married and they hadn't been her husband's ties. Maybe they'd been her father's. Anyway, they were wonderful ties from the 1940s, super wide and hand-painted in gloriously garish patterns. It didn't take long before I was one of her regulars. Even when my mother clipped my clip-on bow tie to the thick rubber strap that was the cool way to carry your books in those days, I would slip the bow tie into my pocket and line up at Miss Sukert's. Among the other regulars that year were 3 hoodlum types, Eddie, Vinny, and some other guy whose name I forget. Collectively, they'd been in 9th grade for about 10 years. Among those overaged hoods, I noticed one tie was especially popular. One of those 3 always managed to snag it. But why? I couldn't imagine. It wasn't even that ugly, at least not compared to a couple I especially liked, because they made my math teacher squint. It was the hood named Eddie who finally showed me the secret. He was turning 16 and dropping out officially to work at his father's junkyard. Maybe we'd developed some kind of weird camaraderie waiting outside Miss Sukert's room. I don't know. But on his last day, as we were returning Miss Sukert's ties at the end of 8th period, he said, "Hey, kid." I looked at him, wondering if I was going to get hit. Kids like him, I knew, didn't need a reason, but he just winked at me, lifted up that special tie, and spread open the inside. And there, hand-painted on the inside, was a naked woman with enormous Jane Mansfield bazooms. I had to put my hand over my mouth so Miss Sukert wouldn't hear me laughing. After that, as you might expect, I got that tie as often as I could. It was always a big hit in the boys' room, and I generously passed on the secret to a new tie-resistant 7th grader when I moved up to high school. Miss Sukert, of course, never knew. So long, Miss Sukert. You were great.